A throwback. That was a real throwback.
Who was that?
That was who was that?
Is
Good
that
question.
much of a throwback?
May Hawthorne.
Oh, okay.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
All right.
Yeah. Good track though. Shout out to Throwback Thursdays. Listen, Tati.
I ain't saying nothing.
Well, welcome to the show, Mr.
Thank you,
Rob Clove.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me. Seriously.
Absolutely. So, how about that weather? No, listen. let's talk about it. Your music, your artist. I know just recently you got into some acting.
Yes.
But your first love is music.
Without a doubt, yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was a funny story actually. I never wanted to do music or anything, but it was something my mom forced me to do, like in middle school, and I just I'm thankful for it now because it grew into something in itself, you know what I mean? Right. But originally, no, I was just like, come on, all the band nerds are in music, like I'm not trying to do that. And she was like, no, you're gonna do music, because she used to do it when she was young. Okay. And she was just like, a lot of kids, when they have some focus or something like that, it bleeds over into other fields, and like, the focus academic wise and all of that stuff. So I'm thankful to her for doing that. But when I think back on it, I was always around music, growing up black. So always in, my mom was in the choir and all that stuff. So I used to go to the rehearsals and see, and at that time I was doing some singing and stuff, but I wasn't paying, I really wasn't taking it serious or anything like that. But, like a lot of artists, it definitely started in the church at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, without a doubt. So it's been good though. It's been good. I'm thankful to that. And with the saxophone and playing, that was really where I started. And my dad just, he made me play in church. And that the saxophone. Yeah. Okay. And I was terrified the first time. And I was at this church where the piano player didn't know how to read music. So he would just play, whatever was coming to mind, playing by ear. And then he would be like, all right, play. And I'd be like, okay, what key you in? And he's like, I don't know, so and it forced my ear to just really learn how to like hear music and then just start playing. And it comes from the soul at that point, and not just like, reading notes and stuff. So yeah, that I'm thankful for that. Now that I can look back on it and do all that stuff. So
shout out to moms.
Yeah, for real. She knew what she was talking about.
She knew. Yes.
Mama knows best.
Mama knows best. That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true.
When it gets down to the creative process, do you seclude yourself, or walk the streets of New York? Where do you get your
honestly, man, it depends on just how I'm feeling. I like to it depends. Earlier on, it was just raw emotion. Like if I'm feeling good one day, I want to write. If I'm feeling sad, I want to write. If I have something on my heart, I want to write. And that's really how it starts. I can be walking down the street, and I always have my phone on me, and I'll hear a melody in my head or something remind me of something, and I quickly will do like a quick little memo on my phone, because I'll forget. And so much is always going on, like so I'll do that, and then later on I'll go back, sit down at the piano, and like try to think of like writing out a melody, and I'm like, all right, this is cool. And then sometimes it starts with the words or something like that, and then I try to put it to a melody, then I add chords onto it, and then before you know it, it turns into a whole process. But that's just like laying the foundation. Then you want to like really make it so
you go through the whole process, production as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, you just have to, especially trying to be an artist in New York. There's so many people who come here with dreams, and so many people who come here and are talented. But I've learned quickly that talent only gets you like that far. It's your work ethic. It's like, what are you going to, how, when you get home, like, all right, it's cool to have an idea, but are you going to write it down? Are you going to start working on it? Are you going to build it and then see where it goes? And it's a lot that goes into that. And I just know so many talented people who are just, they think someone's just going to discover them one day, but it doesn't happen like that. Like, you're the only one to know about your talent because you're not getting it out, and you're not really, trying to work on it. So work ethic is, I think, 80%. The rest, 20% is talent in my book. It really is. It really is. Because anybody can make it. It really can. It's just if you put in the work, and you can learn anything. sit with it, study with it for as long as you can, and then like
learn
do
it
your
on
best.
YouTube.
Yeah, you know, seriously, you know. But a lot of people don't want to do that at this point, and yeah, that's it. And I'm still young, so I'm trying to use my youth.
I feel you. Yeah, I do believe this generation does, even though they're they're into some wild stuff. I do believe that they have drive, a lot more drive.
It is. It is. You run into a lot of people that do, and those are the people that you want to attach yourself with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, you gotta have that hustle mentality for real, especially here in New York. It's another ball game. You know, I'm from North Carolina, and there, you know, I learned a lot. But when I came here, it was like everybody is trying to make it.
Yeah.
So you got to find a way to stand out.
Grab that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Everybody comes here with that dream in mind.
Yeah. So. It is. It's true. And you know, I always tell the story, like when I came here from high school, I went to North Carolina School of the Arts, and our school was the high school part was really small. And I think it was about 20 of us that moved up here, like after graduation, and there's maybe like 5 or 6 of us left. That was 6 years ago, you know, so it just tells you, like, you know, you gotta like keep staying at it, and it doesn't mean everything is always perfect, but you gotta stay consistent with it, and eventually something will happen. That's what I tell myself. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's nice, man. You play an instrument.
Right.
Not just an instrument, but an instrument. You know, that's a pretty
it's listen, the saxophone is sexy. At the end of the day, it really is. And but you know, it's hard because a lot of people, I'm trying to make it to where it's not just, when people think of saxophone, they only think of like old school jazz or like old time stuff. And I'm trying to let people know, like, there's plenty of songs out right now that are using saxophone, you know, and in a creative way, and not just like, you're not just thinking of like smooth jazz and stuff like that, because that's not my generation. That's not my sound. You know what I mean? And there's so many other sides to saxophone than just doing jazz. You know, I was studying classical saxophone before anything, and that's a whole nother ball game. It really is. It's very technical. You're reading music, and honestly, it's not a lot of people of color that are doing that as well. So that was great for me, but for me growing up, that wasn't what I was used to. That wasn't the music that I heard. So I went a different route. But I have a great friend of mine. Shout out to Stephen Banks. He's a classical saxophonist, world renowned, traveling around and teaching now at a university. Nice. And he's incredible. Just did a TED talk actually about being black and a classical musician, and we need those type of voices in the music field. So saxophone it's for me, it's taught me a lot, and it's given me a lot of discipline, and it's helped out in my life. You know, it's cool to play saxophone. I can go to shows and just you know, New York City, I walk in a club and I always have my saxophone. It's my third leg. I walk in a club, I hear somebody I like, and I'm like, hey, you going on next set? Let me play with you. Yeah, and there's so many connections just that way. So I love it, man.
Because it's not common, too.
No, it's not. It's not.
You know, I know they say, like, you do something that not everybody's doing. Yeah. So that you're able to get somewhere where other people can't.
Yeah, it is. So it's really
that's
true.
Awesome.
No, I love it. I mean, it's saved me from a lot, to be honest with you. Yeah, so saxophone has been great for me.
And then at what point have you combined the music and playing the saxophone?
Well, so I released an EP in December of last year, and I was going to St. John's University, and I had kind of decided, like, I was doing too much music school at the end of the day. Like, I was forgetting, like, why I'm doing this. I was writing music for, like, assignments and stuff like that. I was just like, all right, like, what is going on here? Like, you know, I was miserable. I ended up switching to St. John's, and that's where I like did a whole complete different thing. I was like, let me find other stuff out of music, stuff that I liked. So I randomly did French and business, which was one of the best decisions of my life to do, because the business side just helps you. We can get into that later, how I think it's helped me. But so I was at school in my senior year. I was like, you know what? I used to sing. Let me like just see what I can like. And there was a competition, Battle of the Voices, and it was basically like an American Idol thing. But they bring in like real people. Melanie Fiona came to judge. Luke James, people who are like rising but are like have, you know, Grammy nominations, are out there like doing stuff. And I did this competition. And I was like, all right, let me just see where it goes, and I actually made it to the final rounds.
Nice.
And I was like, all right, you know, maybe I can turn this and add this to, you know, the music stuff. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, why not try it? This is my passion. And so at the beginning of last year, I just had a message on my heart to talk about like the importance of what love is. You guys were talking about that earlier, and not just love in terms of like relationships, but love and like self-love, loving who you are, your culture, loving Black people for me particular, and loving my community, and also trying to have a message to that I thought people would be able to not only understand, but you know, also be surprised to have a young person who's trying to like get people to listen and pay attention, because a lot of the music on the radio, especially in R&B, soul, all of that stuff, it's, you know, I think it's not a good balance. I like to party, I like to do all that stuff, but also I don't hear a lot of music that's real meaningful. You know, a lot of it's just about alcohol, sex, drugs, which has its place, but also people want to hear about like real love, like you know, making it through times, dealing with somebody, going through those heartbreaks, like all of that stuff. So you know, and I was going through a hard time myself. At that time I was just very depressed and stuff, because I was trying to figure out my life and my direction, and music was a savior for me. And I started writing this EP called Energy of Humanity. It's available now on Spotify, Tidal, and Apple Music, so you guys can search that under Rob Clove. And the idea was that I was just laying in bed, and I woke up at like 4 a.m, like seriously. And
those are the creative hours.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just couldn't sleep. I was having a weird dream. And Nina Simone is one of my favorite artists. I don't know if you guys know her. She's
absolutely.
She's incredible. And she was very disturbed too, but that's another story. But I listened to like one of her concerts 4 a.m, and then I just sat down at the piano and started writing my first song, and it was called Letter to Self. And Letter to Self was basically a letter I wrote to myself in a song form, just saying like, you know, just talking about self-love, and just talking about that you are someone and you are successful, and that you can look to a higher power for things. And that turned into a whole project, Energy of Humanity. And I just started writing it out. I formed a band and everything, and I financed everything myself. I was still in school on a full scholarship, and I was like, I don't have these loans, so let me take out a small little loan, get a nice studio. And we went to a great studio and played everything, and I gave them the music. We had some rehearsals and laid down the tracks, vocals, all that stuff, and it turned out to be really good. So that was the first time, you know, that's the only project I've released. And even now, that was what, 8 months ago. Well, what's this October, 10 months ago. So I'm writing completely different music now, but I just wanted that one project to stand out, to say this is my first thing that I have, and it's important and it's meaningful. And you know, I'm writing more like soul, pop music stuff, to where I can get more people into. It's still the same type of message, but I'm evolving as well, you know what I mean? But I wanted to have a project out that was like, all right, this is showcasing that I can really write, I can really compose stuff. And you know, because if you hear me 20 years from now, who knows what that's gonna sound like. But so yeah, and that's really how it came together, man. And I'm happy that it did. So yeah, I mean, it was a pleasure to do, and it's been a journey since then. It's a lot of hustle as you keep going, you know. But yeah, I'm happy with it, very much so. Yeah.
Where was the favorite place you've ever performed?
Favorite place, the Shrine. It's in Harlem.
Shout out to the Shrine.
Yeah, it's I just finished a residency there. I was there every month, and I'll be going back soon as well. But I'm kind of taking a break, doing some other stuff. And yeah, man, Shrine is great because you go there, and it's already a built-in crowd there. You don't have to do too much promotion, but you meet a lot of people, sound crew, lights. Great, yeah, man. So I'm just like, all right, this was the place, and they really welcomed me there, and I like that. But I also got lucky. You know, my very first show was at Carnesecca Arena, opening up for Nas, and that you know, that was by luck. It was, but it was also by like me knocking on the door. Like I knew the people that were putting on the show, and I was like, no, y'all gonna let me open up for this. And I just kept bugging them, sending my music, sending pictures. I was just like every day, just every week, sending them something. And then finally they were like, all right, we'll let you go ahead and do it. And it was great. 3,000 people there, and it was the very first show I did, and it was incredible. But that just let me know, like, all right, talent's one thing, but work ethic, like that hustle, that drive is really what will get your foot in the door. So yeah, that was Shrine and Carnesecca. Yeah, those were amazing. Yeah.
You got some good hustle skills, man.
Hey,
I hope y'all listening. I'm taking notes as well.
Exactly.
That's the only way you can make it, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. You have to. Yeah.
It's pretty much the start of you building your empire.
Yeah, it is. It's true, and you learn a lot too. When you start doing stuff on your own, it's not that you don't need anyone else. I'm always looking for help. I'm always asking questions. That's important. Mm-hmm. I don't know everything, and I'm never gonna pretend like I know everything. Yeah. I'll ask questions. I go online, search stuff. I reach out to people, and if they're willing to give me knowledge, then I'll take it. But you got to have that hustle, because if not, you're just gonna be sitting on your talent and sitting by before you know it. You know, you're gonna be 60 talking about still trying to get an idea out, and it's like, all right, bro. It's like you still can, but you know, you got to get up on your feet, you know, and really get out there. So yeah.
Who's that's so true. Music inspirations.
Music inspirations. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your music inspirations?
A lot of people probably wouldn't hear of because they're saxophonists, and Kenny Garrett is an amazing saxophonist. He's probably one of my first inspirations. But Nina Simone, as I said, she's my biggest inspiration. She's very vocal about everything, very political, to a default sometimes. Some recent people that I always get, thankfully, and I'm grateful to be compared to, is John Legend. Anytime I do something, people bring him up, and I respect him, and I'm happy for that compliment. He's got 10 Grammys. It's like, all right, I'll take that any day. Mm-hmm. Him, Anderson .Paak. I don't know if you guys know Anderson .Paak. You got man.
You gonna shout him out?
Oh man, right now, you gotta listen to Anderson .Paak. Bruno Mars also is a huge influence, talented guy. Let's see, Leon Bridges is amazing as well. This girl Leanne LaHavis. These are all like soul artists. They're not completely like mainstream, but you can just hear the truth in everything that they do, and that that inspires me at the end of the day. But yeah, so it's a lot of people, it's a lot of jazz artists that inspire me, even though I'm not doing like straight ahead jazz or anything like that. But that's what I listen to. Like, so I was that weird kid, like 16, like listening to like bebop and all that stuff on the train and doing all that stuff. But it just taught me really like what music is, you know what I mean, to like really know like chord changes, notes, things like that, and studying, you do stand out from the crowd when you can go and you're not just a songwriter, you're not just a singer. Like, no, I'll sit down and I'll play the chorus for you, I'll tell you what is going next, all this stuff, and people respect you. It takes you to a whole nother level, because a lot of people are just like, well, can you do that note right there? Which is fine, but I'm like, no, I need this to be whatever, G7 or whatever, whatever it is. And so a lot of people inspire me, and I continue to be inspired every day, man, every day. And not just by musicians. I'm inspired by actors. I'm inspired by people on the radio. I'm inspired by close people that I know that, like my granddad and stuff like that, all of that. So strong men who have been in my life and strong women who have been in my life. So all of that is an inspiration to me. So it's been good. It's been a good journey.
So how'd you segue into a little bit of acting? So
that was crazy. Yeah. When I got here, well, I was always interested in acting. And when I was at School of the Arts in North Carolina, they have an acting program, and it's like number 6 or something in the world, and it's incredible. And I just never got the time to get over that because I was doing a lot of music. And when I got to New York, I started taking some classes and started getting some lessons and stuff like that because I was still interested. And I got really mixed up into the NYU crowd. Some of my friends who moved here went to NYU, and so I was like, all right, let me start try to write some music for you guys, short film. I don't know where you're gonna be in the next 10 years, any of that stuff. So I was really trying to do the music thing, like, all right, here's a short, like, let me write something for you. And then they'd be like, all right, that's cool, but you might want to do this part, like get in front of the camera really quickly and like do this. And it just turned out to like I would start doing short films for NYU and getting calls randomly to do stuff like that, and stuff at Syracuse University. And I started building like credits because I was sitting in and reading these roles. And I remember there was one role that I did for NYU that was a big project, and we shot for a week up in Connecticut, and I was playing a a saxophonist, but also acting in it. And I just was like, all right, I love this. Let me keep doing this and trying to use all your talents. At the end of the day, that's really what it has been. And I started back focusing more on music, and then I just went back to doing more acting. And recently, I just booked a lead role for this new show that's called Rock Island, and it's not thanks. It's not picked up yet. We're just gonna shoot the pilot basically. And Rock Island is this lady, Robin K. Miller. She's an incredible producer, writer, and she was a corrections officer for 23 years. Okay. And if you guys know about Rikers Island, it's a lot of corruption that comes out of there. A lot of like, drug dealing with the inmates and the correction officers, corruption with the higher ups, the warden, all of this stuff. And she wrote a book about this and exposing this. She lost a family member to it because of her sister was a corrections officer that went in and ended up getting hooked up on drugs and prostitution, with the prisoners, ended up dying, overdosing. So she feels strongly about this, and it's more of a mission. And she wrote a book explaining it, and now she's got, she did an interview recently on CNN, and that's how I really saw her. And she put out an ad looking for actors for this new show to do a pilot, and me, and I saw it, and I applied. Then I emailed her, and she replied back to me and was like, all right, come in. And I'm playing this guy, Special Agent Black, that makes me laugh, that name. Special Agent Black, right. And it's a guy who's a young guy who's undercover working as a psychologist with the prisoners, and he's just going in there trying to really break the system. And it's going to be my first big role that I have, something like that. It's a lead role, and I'm excited about it. We're going to be shooting. Thank you. Yeah. We're going to be shooting in November at a prison in Philadelphia, actually. And I just pray that, the pilot gets picked up. And from there, I hope so. And from there, just sky's the limit. So I'm excited. This could probably be my big break for once. And,
that's good.
So we'll see. Thank you. Yeah. Keep a lookout for that.
I know it's coming for you, boys.
Thank you, man.
You're pushing pretty hard.
I'm trying, man.
Get back to some of your music, Timeless People.
Yeah. Timeless People, man. It's about relationships. I've never been in love in my life, but I fantasize about it in my songs. I think about what maybe it is. And Timeless People to me is about when you finally find that one person and time stops. And it's literally timeless. And there's a line in there where it says you're a broken record and you're on repeat. And that to me is what timeless love is at the end of the day. And the way that I wrote it and sound, I want it to be a timeless song, and I want it to be visually for people to see it as they listen to it. So it's the last song I recorded as well. So it's the most recent thing that I have professionally. I'm doing more music, but that I wrote for that. So yeah, it's a beautiful song, beautiful composition that I made, and I'm soloing on sax and singing on it. And my guitarist Yasuhito is also soloing on it. So
that was one of his tracks, Better Days.
Yeah, I hope you guys like that. That's probably the newest. That's some of the newest stuff I've been writing. Been using more technology now, all production stuff. Using on that track, Better Days. I'm using like some vocal effects on it that I've never used before. So like I said, my music is, I don't know where it's going to be 20 years from now. But it's cool. It's finding the sound that I'm trying to get. It's like a mix of soul, pop, that good area. So yeah.
So no trap music. Just a little.
I don't think
if there's a rapper out there that wants some vocals, I'll do that. I'm not gonna create
those. They're hitting you up. They're hitting you up just now, yo. They want to be the first. Jazzing and trap.
Hey,
with the sax.
I mean,
there you go.
You never know. You never know.
That's what's up.
But yeah.
So I mean, playing the saxophone, like, is it something that you do just by yourself sometimes, and not in rehearsing, but just to play music? You hear something, like you said, you hear something, you start to play it. Like, how often do you find yourself in that zone?
I rarely actually, when I hear something, I rarely go to the saxophone to play it now, to be honest with you. But it's I'll sit down at the piano if I hear something now.
So piano as well, you can play.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a pianist, but
you hit them keys.
I can, yeah. I can, as a songwriter, you have to have because saxophone, you can't see chords, it's just modal. It's one sound. It's one note at a time, unless you're getting into some extra technical stuff, but it's one thing at a time. With piano, you can sit down, hear all the voices, hear all the chord changes, and it's just better. So you have to know. Some people either play piano or they play guitar, and that's how they can use it to write, or use them, or they do both of them. But yeah, rarely do I sit down at the saxophone to create a melody. But excuse me, the hiccup there.
Yeah. You caught that? You hearing it?
But yeah, I mean, it's fun. Look, I just try to have fun at the end of the day. Like if something's in my head, I don't know. Like artists are crazy. At the end, to be honest with you, like there's so much that goes up here. Like
I do agree.
Some days I'm just like, all right,
is a talent.
Well, I mean that, and some just like I don't know. It's just I just pray I'm not gonna be insane by the time I'm 70. But no, a lot is going on, and music is we'll see. But music is always going, man. There's always a melody in my head, something in my head going. So yeah, sometimes I'll sit down at the sax, but mostly it'll be at the piano or something like that.
So those are the only two instruments, or are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thing that you want to learn?
I want to learn guitar. Yeah,
okay.
I do want to learn guitar. But I've
Bo
just
Jackson
but I'm taking my time on that. I'm trying to find. I need somebody who's gonna teach me. I can go on YouTube and like learn some simple stuff, but I don't know. But someone gave me at a show, actually. I did a show, and this lady just walked up and she was like, "Hey, you got 15 minutes?" And I was like, yeah, whatever. She comes back with a guitar, comes back with an acoustic guitar, and says, "This has been sitting in my closet for the past 2 or 3 years."
Wow.
She's like, "You could just have it." I'm like, "I don't even play guitar, but okay,
so
that's
you
a
have
sign."
it.
Yes, so I have one.
Nice.
And it's just sitting in my apartment. So I'm just like,
so you thought about it, and there it was.
And there it was. Now I gotta like sit down and play it.
You'll get to it.
The Lord provides in mysterious ways. Yes.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
So now you get back to some of your acting.
Yeah.
Like what kind of actor would you categorize yourself as?
Well, right now, I'm definitely by type. What do you mean?
You like adventurous movies.
Oh, okay. Definitely, I like drama, and I want to get into
Action,
some comedy stuff as well. But
are you a comedian?
Not at all.
Okay.
But I can be funny outside of like being like in Rob Clove mode. But
sound like an action hero.
Yeah, and Clove. By the way, Clove stands for Classic Love. I don't even know. I didn't say that, but that's like that's where this all started from.
Oh, okay.
It's an abbreviation.
So
of
that's not your.
That's not my real last name.
Oh, okay.
No. And I just don't want people to know my last name.
Yeah, that's fine.
You don't know where you're gonna go in the next 10 years.
I was gonna say that's pretty dope that your name is Rob Clove.
No, I mean I do have a good, cool last name, but somebody else has that. And,
okay.
But this works.
It's okay. Clove works.
Yeah, it does.
There's no cloves in the industry.
No, and I looked it up. I was making sure. Like,
that's good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, and I'm trying to do. I'd like to read theater stuff, and because listen, the thing is, one, I respect people's craft, and you can't just say, "Oh yeah, I'm out here acting," and you don't know what you're doing. Like, are you reading stuff? Are you studying stuff? Are you taking classes? Are you really trying to hone a craft? Because it can be annoying for people who are like, "Oh, I'm a musician," and then you're like, "Oh, okay, are you playing?" And they're like, "Well, no, I get to it. Oh, we'll play something," and then it doesn't mean the talent isn't there. But it's just like, in order to take that title of saying something, like, you need to be studying and you need to be like working, you know what I mean? Working at getting better and working at that. So that's why now I'm finally taking on I've been doing acting on the side for a couple of years, but now I'm taking it to another level, trying to, because I'm just, I'm an artist out here trying to find every avenue to where I can use my talents. And so reading stuff, and right now I'm reading, there's a great old-time actor and coach, and his name is Stanislavski. And so I'm reading one of his books right now talking about acting, especially since I'm doing this role. I want to make money. Like, I got to bring it that first pilot, you know what I mean? Like, I need it to be there so that we can get this stuff on the roll. So yeah, I do a lot of reading right now on that. But yeah, dramatic roles are what I'm looking for and what I'm good at. And I find a lot of artists they can tap into that part that's truthful, you know what I mean, and really working on trying to bring a character out. And I've always been interested in relations between people and like how we react to each other. And the biggest thing from acting is listening at the end of the day. Like, people have lines, but a lot of people, you notice, people are like waiting to say what they got to say. No, it's a conversation at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And why are you saying what you're saying? Like, are you just saying it like when you go to the door, you know, like people are, and people are like, so, you know, if you see a film or you watch an action and someone's like, okay, they're going to open up the door, something simple like that. And it can look like this person is acting to open the door. But, like, why are you doing it? Are you opening the door to hear someone on the other side? Does someone not? Like, is there a purpose to every action that you're doing? And that's really what brings out, I think, the talent in the actor. And you lose yourself and you're not conscious of, like, oh, I got to say my lines and, like, I got to do this. Like, you really, like... And like everything that we do, and people, we act every day. Yeah, we act right. You guys are acting right now. You're radio personalities. You know, I'm acting as Rob Clove and as an R&B artist and all of this. You know what I mean? And you have who you are behind closed doors, and you have who you are in the world. You know, and we know that, especially, you know, for Black folk, you know, we can be at work and be somebody, and then we can be at home and be somebody completely different. When a bill collector call and you put on that certain voice and you know, or something like that, and then your homeboy call and it's different. So we act every day, and you just want to tap into that. So it's all that stuff is interesting to me. It really is. So
favorite actor.
That's what favorite actor.
Favorite actor.
You guys probably don't know him. It's Jeremy Irons. British guy. I love British actors. He did the voice of Scar in Lion King. Who's some other favorite actors of mine? Trying to think of some people that's out.
I'm surprised you didn't say Denzel Washington. Everybody loved Denzel.
I get it. Denzel, I think, is super talented. He's not my favorite. And a lot of times, to be honest, this is not gonna be popular, but I don't care. Like, get at me. But Denzel, every time I see him, it's just Denzel Washington. Like, does no one feel that? Like, where's the? I don't see. It's always Denzel.
I get it, because I felt the same way at one point. As far as his, you know, he doesn't get into costume or anything. Like
no, it's just like, you know, when you see Denzel, you know, like.
But it works apparently.
But I mean, hey, what's his last movie he did with what's this other young lady?
Oh, Fences.
Fences.
Oh, okay.
I seen that movie.
That I haven't seen. I'm sure it's incredible.
Why?
I'm sure it's incredible. I'm sure it's incredible.
Who he is.
And you know, they did that on Broadway for a long time before they did it on film. And so he had a lot of time with that role and building it.
He can go on for like 20 minutes, yo.
Yeah, no, and listen, I'm not saying he's just not my favorite. I still think he's super talented.
Yeah, I get it. All his greatness, I get it.
He's amazing. He is. He really is. Meryl Streep is another favorite of mine. I mean, there's just, you know, you got me on the spot now, but there's a lot of people that I like to watch and just see. I'm into some good shows that's out now. I mean, I like that show. Insecure was good. Just everyday Black girl. That's I think that's why a lot of people go with that, as well as when she deals with relationships and like it's just funny. That's a really good raw show that I think is good out there. But yeah, I mean, there's so much content out there at the end of the day. That's why it's so hard. But you know, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and yeah, there's a lot of talented people.
You said you've never been in love, so have you ever written about a loser?
Huh?
Have you ever? You said you've never been in love,
right?
But have you written a song about a loser?
About relationships that I've been in? Oh yeah. I mean,
any losers in your relationships? All of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen. I think the best revenge is success. There's people, you know. Look, I'm a complicated guy. So like, I get it. If you're gonna date an artist, you got to deal with all that. But I do my best to. My biggest thing that I can't stand is insecurities, and that's a lot of time where I draw the line. Like, you know, I tell people, oh, you're great. Like, you can do whatever you put your mind to, and I believe it, and you should believe that as well. I've been in situations in my past 2 relationships where the person is not you know, they're on their own path, but they're kind of on like the everyday, like 9 to 5 type of thing. When we were dating artists, and I'm like, oh, I just booked this, or like I got a show, you know, that lifestyle can seem so exciting and stuff to them, and they're like, oh, well, what am I doing with my life? It's like, no, but you have purpose in what you're doing as well, and you can be great in whatever you're doing in that. But I can't make you love yourself, and I can't make you appreciate yourself. At the end of the day, that becomes detrimental to me and my growth. So I'll cut you off for that. And, you know, so that's the thing. But, you know, and it also takes me a while. Like, I've had people who have been in love with me within a month, and I'm just like, oh, I mean, what what am I gonna
saxophone. That's what it is, brother.
But like, what do you do with that? You know what I mean? Like, it takes me time to grow. It takes me time to really get to know who you are, and I need someone who's willing to do that. And also, I'm focused on my career. You know, like at the end of the day, like music is going to be over that person right now, and that's a hard pill to swallow. And I'm very honest. Like, I let them know up front. You know, like right now, I'm focused on this. I want to build and grow with you, but you got to understand that not all the time I can be on the phone and like talking to you all. You know, shows and gigs are like 12, 1 a.m. a lot of times in the city. You're in the club, you know, and doing sets. You can be there from 9 and leaving out 2, 3 a.m. Like, seriously, especially if you're in a jazz club or something like that. So like a lot of time my nights can be gone, and I can travel sometimes. I do stuff like saxophone gigs in New Jersey, so sometimes I don't have a full weekend. Like, people have to, it's a sacrifice that you're making, and I still need to have time to spend with my family and, you know, all of that stuff. So
make it all about you, right? I mean, it is
These
important
are
to get to
years.
And you have to at this point, you know, and I don't want to look back and say I gave up this opportunity for, you know, for anything. Now, if the right person comes along and that happens gradually and naturally, that's a whole nother ball game. But I can't force anything, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. Yeah, so that's why, you know, a lot of my music is about love, because it's something that I think of. It's something that I'm also taking my time with. So yeah, I mean, eventually it happened, but I'm not stressed about it. Yeah.
One of your loves is playing that saxophone.
Yes.
So we're going to get you to play something live in here. Are you going to play something original, or?
No, I'll play you something that people know. I'll play Killing Me Softly.
All right. You're going to rock it out.
We're going to do it now?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I'm going to wake you up, too.
I thought we would go to a break.
If you got the levels there, this thing will play.
Live in the Nocturnal Suite. It's your boy, Rob Clove. He's going to give you a little jazz from his saxophone.
I'll get like one little verse up.
What you know about that? What you know about that? This is a Nocturnal Vibes.
It's a lot of breathing.
Yeah, that was some dope stuff.
Yeah, right? Do you have to, like, you know how you have to do, you know, little run-throughs when you sing? You have to.
Of course. I was playing saxophone to help me with singing and breathing.
I can see that.
Yeah, because it's a lot. Thankfully, I had a great teacher that taught me a little trick. When you're breathing in, pretend you're saying how. So like, like that. And you're getting a big old breath down here, diaphragm, all of that stuff. And I've been doing that since high school. Mm-hmm. So when I started singing, everything is about the diaphragm and doing all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And it helped me out a lot. Yeah. So saxophone has come to many great things for my life to help me, just help me be able to grow. So yeah, it's a lot of breathing. It is. And when I first started, I was sounding like a duck. And I did. So I'm thankful to my parents because they had to stick with me. Like, I didn't always sound like, it wasn't always smooth and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, it took
Nothing is when you first start. It's cool.
And yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And so it was a lot of breathing. I used to like feel like I was going to pass out and stuff because I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, it's been great, you know, learning technique on the saxophone and just like honing on the craft. And I used to spend, which is why I switched from music school, because like when you're in a conservatory, everything is about music. Yeah. And I would every night, 4 hours, 3-4 hours in the practice room, locked in there, like playing through scales, playing through transcriptions, playing through songs and like it's a lot, but it teaches you just that work ethic, like I was saying, and it teaches you that the technique and discipline is the most important thing. So yeah, it's good, and I'm happy now that I can say that it helps me make money. It went from just like doing assignments to like, all right, I gotta pay these bills. So yeah, so it's great, it's fun. And my saxophone's name is Charlene. So
I hear that.
So yeah,
that's what's up. So you have your acting, playing music, you creating music, so many different areas that you're talented in. So
yeah, man.
Which is the well, music pretty much all together.
Yeah,
that's you. But what is your favorite out of all of it?
Definitely. Well, man, I like it all, to be honest with you, and that's why I went from saying, "Oh, I'm a musician" to an artist, because I think it encompasses all that. And I'm building a platform, and you know, a big issue on for me is social justice for my community, for black people. One of the biggest songs off of that EP is called "Little Black Boy," and the message is, "Please make it back home. I know it seems so small, but you'd be surprised." They say that's just the way it is, you know. And it's little. What are the words? Little black boy. Don't be fooled by the look of fear in their eyes. You're not the issue, but it's the spirit that lives within you. And that's just so important. I don't see music that speaks to, and not just black boy, but black girls. I don't see music that's lifting us up anymore at this point. You know what I mean? Or not this mainstream, at least. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to write something like that. And we're in a time right now to where I wrote that after. See, that's been so many that like you can't even remember which black man was shot, and that I wrote it after. It was Eric Garner, and which was after Trayvon Martin, and it's just one of those things that was important to me. I don't care how people feel. I don't care if it offends people. I don't care if it's too black. I don't care if it's too pro any of this. Like, you have a message that you have to get out as an artist, and I don't care if politics get in the way, but that's important to me. You know, I do a lot. You know, I'm just trying right now. I just feel like we need more people advocating for us. And not just that, but other social issues that affect us. A big thing that I'm about is climate change and how that it's ruining our planet. And I got lucky in 2015. I told you guys I was studying French. I wrote a French speech about climate change, sent it to the French embassy in Washington, D.C. They liked it, and I won this competition out of all of America, and they decided to send me to Paris for a summer, and I got to work with the United Nations and learn about what climate change was, speak with them, and bring stuff back here so that I can also talk about how important it is. And we have a president right now who doesn't care, who doesn't believe in it, and we have hurricanes all over the place right now, landslides. You know, you can't tell me that climate change is not real, and it's a big issue for me, and as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to always be political, because I think artists need to, like, you can have the fun stuff, which I'm about, like music that's just people dance to. I love that. But you can also have a balance of stuff that makes you think, makes you sit, and makes you like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's important. And I do it now so that when I'm whatever, quote unquote, made it, is that people aren't just like, oh, you're just trying to like look cooler. So, no, I've been talking about this since college, you know what I mean? Since even younger. Yeah. And it's something that's weighs heavy on my heart, and we need more people to know about those issues. So yeah, So basically, to answer your question, I like everything, and I try to use everything. Yeah, I try to use everything for my benefit. You know what I mean, and for the benefit of others. And I try to be a good example. And it doesn't mean I'm perfect. Believe me, I'm not perfect. And you can hear some of those imperfections in my music, and I talk about all those things because I have to be truthful to who I am and to myself as well. And you get in the default if you try to play Mr. Perfect Guy or 100%. Perfect person, i.e. Bill Cosby. That's just just to be real. So yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. In the Nocturnal suite. Listen, don't go too far. We got more with Mr. Rob Clove. We're going to chop it up. Maybe play a little something else for us later. We'll see. Sure. We'll work it out. This is okay, all right, Felicia the Temple. Welcome back. Shout out to SZA. She's doing her thing with her music.
Yep. She blew up, man.
She's doing her thing. I'm proud
Shout
of
out
her.
to her loser of an ex that told her to shut up. He probably the reason why she went even harder.
He made her some money.
Right. Gave her some motivation.
Sometimes a loser can help you out a little bit.
or it was like, what if she was the loser? He told her, yo, get it together. We don't know the story. So,
I don't know. Like I said,
you always trying to back up your fellow.
I'm just saying, just make it an even playing field. You know.
I'm saying success is the best revenge.
Yeah.
Hello.
It really is. So
it is.
He probably sitting around salty right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he's being congratulated.
I'm pretty sure
right,
it's some
pretty salty
people.
No, but they probably was like, oh, you was with SZA? Okay. And he's probably using that to his advantage.
And that's SZA, right? Imagine somebody that was with Beyonce before she blew up. Yeah. Or
they got a lot to say, right? I mean,
I wouldn't tell. I just wouldn't tell anybody. I just wouldn't say anything.
You took the L of a lifetime.
I'm sure if anybody dated Beyonce in kindergarten, they talking about it. Right? They don't care whether you heard.
You're right. So
she shared her fruit snack with me.
Right. Give me her pudding. Listen.
No pun intended.
Right. So, Mr. Rob. So now, what's next for you, man? I know you got the TV pilot.
Yeah, that's I'm just focusing. Look, I'm focusing on that. And
any live shows coming up?
Not right now. Actually, I ended up canceling some. Just I want to focus on this, and I'm doing some songwriting right now. Mm-hmm. Behind the scenes, I just hooked up with this cool agency in Los Angeles, and they brought me on as what you call a spec writer. So I'm starting to write right now. They work with television and TV writing. This is stuff I actually really want to do, and it's cool that this is happening. So basically they send me something, a TV show approaches them like, hey, we need something for the scene, blah, blah, blah. They'll send me the scene or the theme, and they'll say, all right, can you write something for this? And so that's when you asked me how it's the writing process, a lot of times it can come from passion, but this has been a new experience for me because I'll get something and it's like parts of a script, and a producer will say, oh, we need this to be about making it past like going through ups and downs and making it better, like through the end or something like that.
Okay.
And that's hard because it's like, oh, we need this tomorrow, like have a song, it's no inspiration, no nothing. It's just like, I got to sit down, I got to write something. And
how many times can you look back at that and be like, yo, look how I did that?
I mean, I just started, man, just about a month ago. So I'm still like figuring it's a muscle that you're trying to learn, because for me it's not like I have all day to sit around and like try to write something. But I sent them something actually end of last week that has been pitched to the show This Is Us. I don't know if you know that show. I've never seen that show, but I know it's very popular, so I'm waiting to hear back from that.
Nice,
and that'll be my first credit, like getting into a TV show and stuff like that. And and it depends on the producer if they, the music supervisor and the producer, if they like what they hear, they end up choosing it and they put it into a show. And
nice.
You never know what happens from that. People can hear it and then be like, oh, who is that? And they look you up and then you don't know what it is. So that's right now what I'm focusing on, and on the acting stuff. So performing right now, I'm kind of putting it on the back burner until I release another project or something like that. And I've got some stuff in my back pocket that I'm just sitting on right now and trying to produce some more. So it's you just gotta try to stay busy at the end of the day. That's what it is. Try to stay busy, and to make it as an artist, gotta have multiple streams of income. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Have it coming from everywhere. Warren Buffett, one of the richest guys in the world, has 3,000 sources of income. Like it's not coming from just one place. You know, he's got investments here, investment there, and all that. And that's my goal when I get older. When I start making real money, I want to put it away and start having some business investing it, so that when I'm 50 or something, I don't have to sit around and like keep like, come on, I'm 24 right now. I got the energy to hustle, but you know, 30 years from now, I don't think I'm gonna be able to like be running around like that. So I really want to do it all right now, so that within 20-25 years I can really start seeing some results. So that's on my mind. I think long term a lot. And not very much too short term, but so we'll see. I have faith, and you gotta have faith in yourself. Like no matter what you're doing, like I know that I'm gonna be successful, and it's not a cocky thing. It's just like if I don't believe it, like who else is gonna like? Absolutely. I can't take it from anybody else. Like I know that's gonna happen, and just put in the work. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Listen, man, shout out to you, yo. You're doing tremendous work.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
Pretty sure you're going to teach a lot of individuals, young and old.
Hopefully. I mean, whatever.
Your example.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me on here.
Where they can find you.
Well, you guys can find me. You can visit my website, www.robclove.com. Through there, you can click some of the links on there, and follow me on Instagram, Rob_Clove, Facebook as well, Twitter. I'm not really on Twitter, I'm not gonna lie. Like I just don't. I just don't. It's too much, and I'm young, but I hate social media. Like if it wasn't for me being an artist, I would not be online like at all. Like I just don't care at this point. I really don't, because it gets too much is going on, and I get depressed going on Facebook now. Like I just
too much.
I can't. You know, it's like it's crazy, man, and all of that stuff. So and you start comparing yourself, and that's a downfall. You can't, like, you see other people's lives and you're like, well, why am I doing this, why am I not doing that? That's just a downfall. So go to my website, robclove.com. You can also purchase my EP, Energy of Humanity. It's available Amazon Play, Google Play, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, pretty much any of those digital platforms that you want to be able to stream it or buy it. But just support, and share. That's the biggest thing that I need people to do. Just share. I don't care if you pay for it. Share it.
Share it. So you're going to share it? You're going to take us out tonight with the saxophone? You got to play something for the listeners.
Okay. All right. Let me see.
Listeners, we want to shout out to everybody. Tati, it's been a nice show. I'm glad you survived, because you've been working and hustling and moving and shaking all week.
It's cool. The hustle, right?
The hustle is real.
It's real.
That's what's up. Well, you going to enjoy your weekend? Right?
Yeah.
Any last words for the listeners?
No, it's been real. It's been real. Catch us next week. Same place, same time.
That's what's up. Listen, Mr. Rob Clove is going to take us out. I want to shout out to the listeners one more time. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. This is Nocturnal Vibes.
Mm-hmm.